Hello, this is Sarah with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make this fun little, it's a keychain purse, and you can hook it on your bag. It's the perfect size to fit a card like your business card. I use it on my gym bag, and my gym card fits perfect in here, and I can hook it right on my gym bag because it has a hook. I added a cute little charm on here, but you don't have to. It was just one that I had. This is really easy to make. It has a loop button. You put a button on there, and so you got plenty of room to put your cards and things inside. Maybe you can put your ID on it, and maybe even just put it on the side of your backpack for school. Put your lunch money in it. It has lots of possibilities. So what you're going to need is this bag is made out of this cordial yarn, this gray. It's called Grayscale. The one we're going to do today, I'm going to use this color just because it's pretty, and it's called Cheerful. I think it is pretty cheerful. Now, this is a number 5 type yarn, and you do not have to use cordial to make this bag. If you want to use 2 strands of worsted weight, number 4, you can. Or you can also use a craft yarn. It works great also. The reason I like this yarn is because even though it's a cord-like yarn, it still has a little bit of give to it. So it works perfect for making little bags, and like this one, a keychain, and things that you want to be sturdy. This is perfect for dog collars. It's perfect for a collar for you. It has a lot of great possibilities. Today we're going to be stitching with our J-hook. And what you're going to need for this project is you're going to need 1 D-ring for this right here. Now, you can use a circle if you want to. I just really like the D-ring because it holds the stitches well. You're also going to need a clip that looks like this. Now, D-rings and these clips can be found at Hobby Lobby, and you can find them at Michael's and also Joann Fabrics, but you can also find them at your local hardware store like Lowe's or Home Depot. So, and these D-rings come in all different sizes, and so do these hooks. I bought a bag that had 6 in it. I actually bought them at Walmart over by the button department, in the fabrics over by the buttons. So you can find them all over the place. And then you're also going to need a good size button to put on the front. And I love these buttons that just have 2 holes because you can just put it through there and it works really well. The last thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a needle with a nice big eye, because this is pretty thick yarn, and so we need to be able to get it through there. So those are all the things that you're going to need to make our keychain bag. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the bag measures approximately 4.5 by 4 inches, just in case you wanted to know what size the bag is. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make our slip knot, and then we're going to chain 21 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1 is 21. Now we're going to be stitching the bag across, this way, and then we'll be folding it this way to close it. That's why it seems so long. All right, we're going to place a double crochet in the second chain from the hook. And then we're going to double crochet in each stitch across. One interesting thing about working with this yarn is I never did find the center pull for this yarn. I don't know why. I couldn't get it to pull that way, and it was on the other skein as well. But because this yarn can be a little stiff to work with, I suggest you work with it a little bit loosely and don't pull too tightly, or you end up with really stiff project and it's really hard to work in the stitches. And when you do your first initial chain a little bit loose so that you can get those stitches in there. This is a really fun yarn to work with. It's just different than working with regular yarn because it doesn't have as much stretch. It's not as soft. It's a little bit like working with craft cord, only craft cord is very stiff. And paracord would be a better comparison, although paracord is more stiff than this as well. So you're getting kind of a cord type yarn, but it still is softer and easier to work with than paracord or craft cord. But again, both of those type cords will work for this bag. One thing I have found, because I shower at the gym, it gets wet sometimes, dries out really fast. Just hanging on the side of my bag and letting it air dry dries out really fast. All right, we're almost done with our first row. I really like how this color is stitching up, though, I have to say. All right, one more stitch. We're going to chain one. I know sometimes we chain 3, but I want you to just chain 1. There's our first row of 20 single crochets. Sorry, 20 double crochets. And so what we're going to do for 5 more rows, we're going to stitch double rows of double crochet, and then we'll have a total of 6 rows. So we're going to double crochet right in that first stitch, and then we're going to double crochet across and then chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do that for a total of 6 rows. So I've stitched 6 rows of double crochet, and this is the body of the bag, and we'll be folding it like this when we're done. But we're not ready to do that just yet. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to single crochet all around all 4 edges. And we're going to begin by going across the top, and this is going to just give us a nice finished edge. So we're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across the top of the bag. And then when we get to that first corner, we want to make sure that we put 3 single crochets in each corner, and that will give us a nice corner that moves over the corner smoothly. It's scraping a little on the table because it's a little stiffer than my regular yarns. I'm trying to move it so it's not so scrapey. It's not bothering me, but it might bother you. All right, we're almost to this first corner. There we go. So now we're in this first corner, and we're going to place 3 single crochets. And what that does is that helps it move around the corner nice and smoothly, because we single crocheted up here, and now we're single crocheting around the corner. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to single crochet down the side. And what I do when I'm stitching double crochets, I try to put 2 stitches in each row. If I'm stitching single crochets, I'll try to put 1 single crochet at the end of each row. And that gives you a nice even single crochet. Now, sometimes you may have to add more and sometimes less. There we go. And you can see it's a little bit tight in some places because working with cord can be a little bit difficult. And although this isn't cord, it is similar to working with cord. All right, pull some of that out. Now, we're at the next corner. We're going to move that extra piece of yarn out of the way there. And we're going to stitch 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Move that. There we go. Now you can see we single crocheted across here, and then we went 3 in the corner, then we evenly crocheted down the side, and then we did 3 in this corner. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to single crochet down this side. We're going to put 3 single crochets here. Then we're going to evenly crochet around this side, and then we're going to join 3 single crochets, and then we're going to join in that first single crochet. Single crocheted all around our 4 corners, and now we're going to add our flap, which is this portion of the bag, our flap that flaps over the edge. And the way we do that is we're going to place stitches in those single crochet stitches that we did at the end. So don't tie off your yarn here. We're not done. We're going to stitch the flap for the bag. Now, try when you're doing your ends, try to place approximately 15 stitches across. It may be more, it may be less, but for the pattern to lay nice, you want to try on these ends, because both ends were just stitching in the ends, not stitching in stitches. So, but we're going to need 15 single crochets across here to form the flap. So what we're going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we're going to single crochet in that first single crochet. We chained 1, and now we're single crocheting across. So we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each single crochet across the top of the bag. And this is, of course, the top, and we're forming the bag flap. Trying to figure out a way to get it to stop rubbing. This is just noisy. It's this type of yarn is a little bit noisy. Oh well. Almost there. All right, so we've stitched across the top. And the next row, we're going to do what's called a double crochet decrease, or stitching 2 double crochets. I'm sorry. Yes, it's a double crochet. 2 double crochets together. So we're going to chain 1. I was thinking it was a single crochet, but we do 1 row of double crochet here. Had to check my notes. So the way we do it, 2 double crochets together, is we wrap our yarn over our hook. We go in the first stitch and we pull up that loop. Then we go in the next stitch and pull up another loop, and you'll have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, go through the first 2, then yarn over and go through those last 3. And what we've done is we've made 2 stitches, decrease down to 1. And then we're going to put a double crochet in each stitch across until we reach the last 2 stitches. And this is just giving us a decrease so that our bag has a little bit of a rounded edge. All right, so we're going to put 1 double crochet in each single crochet across until we reach these last 2 stitches. So we did a double crochet decrease here with the first 2 stitches. Then we did 1 double crochet in each stitch across. And now we're going to do another double crochet decrease, or stitching 2 double crochets together. So I've got my yarn over my hook. I'm going in the first stitch, pulling up a loop, going in that last stitch and pull up a loop, yarn over, go through the first 2, yarn over, go through the last 3, and then we're going to chain 1 and turn. And that just made it so that it decreased on the sides so that the bag has a little bit of a rounded edge. The last row, we're just going to put 1 single crochet in each single crochet across on the flap, and then we're going to tie off. So we'll quickly single crochet across. All right, one in that last stitch. And now we're going to tie off. And I'm just going to pull that stitch under for now. And we'll take time to weave that in later. So, push those in a little so you can see how that looks. Here's our bag. We're going to put it like this, and then here's the flap. All right, so what we need to do next is we need to stitch our sides together. And you have 2 options. You can single crochet across, or you can sew it closed. I'm going to single crochet, slip stitch I mean, because I like the way that it looks. If you single crochet, it will look nice, but I kind of like the way slip stitching looks. So I'm going to go through those outside loops of my bag. Add my yarn in. And I've got my bag all lined up the way that I want it to work. And so I'm going to go in those stitches and just slip stitch. Just like that. I think it's the best option, but you can single crochet or you can sew it with a needle, whichever way you want to do and what you think looks best for your project. So I'm single crocheting, I am slip stitching, going through both sides of the bag. A little more yarn here until I get to the top. One more stitch. Get in there. All right. And see, that moves pretty quickly. Now, I do suggest that when you get to the top of your corners, that you really attach those really well, because that's where all the pressure is when you're opening and closing your bag. All right, I need to weave these ends in, and then I need to sew this other side. And I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm going to show you how to attach your button and make your little button loop. And also the tab for the D-ring. So we've sewn up the sides of our bag using slip stitches. And like I said, you can use single crochet or you can sew it shut with a needle and the yarn. I like using the single crochet just because I like the way it looks. I also tidied up the bag, pulled all my stitches in, and now we're going to make the tab so that we can hang it on our bag. And what we're going to do, let's make a slip knot, put it on our hook, and now we're going to stitch 3 single crochets across this D-ring. Let me get it up close here so you can see. We're going to go in the D-ring, grab the yarn with our hook, and pull it through. Then we'll loop over and go through those 2 to make a single crochet. And we'll do that 2 more times. Just snug that down. All right, so we've done 3 stitches, 3 single crochets on our D-ring. And we're going to chain 1, and we're going to turn and put 1 single crochet in each of those stitches. Now you wanted to snug those down, but you don't want them so tight you can't get your hook through. There we go. 1, 2, and then the last one is 3. And then, of course, we're going to do this for as long as you want it. It's totally up to you. I did 4 rows. I think it's a good length. It's far enough away that the hook can hang and give it room. So I think that works great. So we'll do one more row of 3 single crochets. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Now we've got our little tab. We'll work this in a little bit, and I'm going to show you how to attach it to your bag. Now you can put it on this side or this side, whichever way you want. I'm going to hook it on this side, and what we do, let me pull my hook out for a minute, is we're going to line that up to those stitches that we did to close the bag. And if you decided to whip stitch your bag closed, just use the stitches that are next to that on the first row, because you only need 3. And so we're going to go through the stitches on the bag, and then we're going to pull that loop through those stitches. Grab that long one. We're going to tidy that down a little bit and just make a slip stitch, and then we'll go through there and we'll make those. And this you do want to kind of snug down. There we go, because you want this to stay put. And we're going to make 3 single crochets going through the stitches on the bag and the stitches on the tab. There we go. Get in there. There we go. All right, 3 single crochets. And there's your tab. And I'm going to cut this. Tie that off. And now we just need to weave that in so that, you know, these tags aren't showing. I'm going to pull them to the back just so they're out of the way of what we're doing. Pull that one to the back. And then we'll get our needle and we'll weave those in later. So here's our bag. They're still showing. Here's our bag. And what we do with this is the clip that you have, you just pop that clip on there. And now you can clip that to any bag that you want. All right, so we've got our bag and our clip, but now we need to add our button. And the first thing that we're going to do, I've cut 2 pieces of string here. The button goes here. So we're going to kind of do our flap like this. We want the button centered about right there. And so here's my button. I'm just going to go ahead and pull that yarn through since I've already got it on there. There we go. And then I'm going to turn it that way. Stick that through. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of a knot there. Normally I go through and do several just so that I know it's going to stay tight, because this is going to be a button that's going to be used a lot. Opening and closing my bag. All right, now the next thing we need to do is to make the loop that goes around the button. And what I do is I kind of put the loop around to see how much room I need. And then we're going to center it on the bag. And you just pull that string up and you go down 3 stitches in between. And you kind of snug it up. And I just tied a little knot. So that we can see how much room we need. And then what I did is I worked that knot to the underside. Like that. Made another knot. Just so it won't come undone. Give it a nice good pull. Cut that off. And then I can pull my loop up this way and button my button. Now you can put your button down lower, or you can make a bigger loop. It's totally up to you. But now my bag is ready, except for these 2 strings I need to weave in. to hook on my gym bag, to hook on my backpack, my lunch bag, my library bag. I could put my library card in here. It's just a great little bag, and it's a great little size just to hook on anything. Now, before we go, I'm going to tell you about a couple of yarn options just in case that you can't find this cordial. I found this at Walmart. I've also seen it at Joann's. I have not seen it at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Now, you can also buy it online, of course, at redheart.com. But if you want to make this little bag and you can't get a hold of this, like we said, you can use the paracord, you can use craft cord. You can also use 2 strands of worsted weight yarn or 2 strands of cotton yarn. All those options are great to make this little bag. And it's just a great fun size. I'm keeping this one. It's perfect for me.